I am about to take my doggie here for a walk and bring you along. And we're going to talk about what Charlie Kirk exposed and some other things related to that subject. And I thought of no better way to start than with this beautiful flag waving behind me, because that is what Charlie defended in many ways, along with faith in general. And common sense. Okay, so I will get right into what Charlie Kirk exposed to live up to the title. What he exposed is the reality and depth of evil that we have in our country, in the world. It's been somewhat hidden to some extent until just this last week. How did he expose it? Well, through his death, we've seen the rats come out of the woodwork all over social media and celebrating. I've described it as the demons are celebrating. So that's really just a win for truth, revelation, exposing the darkness. Hi, Irma. And yeah, as I shared a quote, and many others have the last few days, what they did, because I don't think it was just one person, but many, what they accomplished was creating 10 million Charlie Kirks. So, epic failure, you might say, huh? So, yeah, Charlie exposed a lot, shed a lot of light on a lot of topics through all of his debates and speaking engagements. But in his death, it was multiplied times literally millions. And what's most beautiful about it, as tragic as it is how much the younger generations were tapped in, tuned in to what he was talking about. And so many, whether they agreed or not, were genuinely engaging and being part of the conversation, which is what was the main goal all along anyway. And now with his loss, like I said, there's going to be millions more on social media. Charlie's social media army continuing his legacy. But again, if you're just getting here, what did Charlie expose? He exposed the darkness. He exposed just sick people. They're really pathetic. That even within the first 24 hours, you're going to be like saying he deserved it or celebrating in any fashion and stomping on his good name, basically. I mean, what kind of person does that? Really? I mean, I've talked to some online, but they're not even worth talking to because all they do is go straight to blaming others, calling them names. I mean, I could go on and on, but I'm not going to here right now. Hey, Tips Playmations, welcome. Is this your first time here? But anyone new watching, please do the liking and subscribing and all of that, because I've been doing pretty regular live streams again on this channel and been enjoying talking about the INFJ life, psychology, self-development tips that I've learned. Besides being a lifelong musician, artist, instrumentalist, teacher, I also served in the Marine Corps 15 years as a pianist, vocalist, drummer, band leader, or band director, whatever you want to call it. Traveled internationally a lot, met and talked to, learned from all kinds of cultures, and it was all of those experiences combined that eventually led me here and on many channels, doing more live streaming, meeting more of you, discussing things, and excuse me, even though I didn't follow Charlie Kirk closely, like on a regular basis, when his videos popped up, I would watch some and always really appreciated what he did, because to some extent, it really doesn't matter how much two people agree on a topic, as long as they can keep, as long as they can stay at the table. Sorry, my dog is yanking me backwards. As long as people can keep talking and discussing issues, then there's a way forward. The moment the arguments cease and debate goes out the window and it just turns into name calling and bashing, labeling, whatever it is, then that's when bad things can and will happen sooner or later. And we've reached, obviously, we're past that precipice already, where people are thinking from years of programming too, from many sources, that it's okay to do that. It's okay to just treat people like they're not worth even talking to, and some evil option is the only choice. And that's just, besides just being weak, small-minded, it's a horrible future for all of us. None of us should want to live in that world. And often it's those same people talking like that who claim to be all about peace and inclusive, loving. We're all in this together. No, we're not, according to what you just last told me. And it's a really sad joke, is what it is. So, with what happened, like I'm saying, with Charlie, I've already been talking about a lot of this stuff more lately, and I have in the past, but I, just like countless others, I'm just one of, I think, millions as of this moment. There is a part of Charlie living in all of us now. It's just a little bit extra courage, a little bit extra boldness, a little bit extra, I don't care what you think about me, I don't care what anyone thinks about me. But if you come to the table and you're willing to talk, I will do my best. And, you know, Charlie's shoes are big ones to fill, because most people would listen to him, see the things he dealt with, people he dealt with, and some of the things they said, and he would handle it much more gracefully than I could, most times. Sometimes I could, but as well as he did, I don't know. He did have a lot of practice, and it's probably not something I'm going to do that often because of all the other things that I'm already doing. But, like I'm saying, yes, Irma, Charlie was God's warrior on the debate stage, and that piece of him, that courage, that boldness, that just multiplied exponentially. That is exactly what happened the moment he went down. So many are going to lift him up and carry on like never before, like completely new, reignited, energized, than if he was still here, still speaking like everything was normal. So, as horrible and tragic as this week has been for so many of us, this is a perfect example of God using a horrible situation for His glory and to accomplish His ways. Perfect example. Evil will not win. Satan does not beat God, ever. You can try, you can go for it for a little while, maybe years, maybe even decades. But in the end, you're destined to fail. Whoever you are, living that lifestyle, whatever it is, you are destined to lose horrendously. And so, all we're going to have now is millions of more voices to share real truths, no matter if it hurts weak and empty ears, shallow. So, on that note, it's very positive. And I have to say all that stuff first before I can say it's positive, because I felt it really hard for a couple days, just like everybody did. And there's no way around that. It is really sunny. I can't even see the screen, but Cassie is free now on the back road. We haven't come over here in a while, actually, because her back legs were kind of bothering her. They're not what they used to be. She's 12 years old now, but apparently she's feeling pretty decent today. And she wanted to go, go, go. So it's Saturday as I record this, and I needed some outside time break anyway, so we're going to take a little extended INFJenius chat. Let's see. Who else is here? I didn't say hello to. Elaine, did I say hi? I think. Joe? Hello? Joe, if I'm saying your name right. Sorry, it's hard for me to see the screen, but I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. But since you mentioned California, California has been one of the most liberal, progressively ran states in the country. And from all of the policies they enacted in 2020, I have watched so many businesses go downhill, downsize, shut their doors, go out of business, while prices have just continued to go up, and it's been a total train wreck. And Gavin Newsom is at the head of that train wreck, while he keeps promising everything under the sun, while the people here keep witnessing the exact opposite. So at some point, people are waking up one by one, and they're seeing what these policies are doing. You can mandate a certain hourly wage all you want for all people. Everyone will make 40 bucks an hour. You can make it whatever you want. But you can't force a business to stay in business that they can't afford to run. So if you lose tons of jobs and businesses because they just can't do it anymore, then guess what? All those people just went from $40 an hour to $0 an hour. Is that so hard to understand? It's really that simple. You don't need to have an economics degree or some kind of be an expert in finance to figure out how that works. It's really that simple. So anyway, that's a side tangent, but it is a really nice day here. It's like mid-September. I keep waiting for our heat wave to arrive here in Southern California, but it has not yet. We only had a couple days a few weeks ago, so I don't know if we're gonna get lucky this year and it's just gonna stay beautiful, or if it's coming. But it's nice. And I should have brought my windscreen for my mic. I hope, can you guys hear me okay? I didn't put my little covering on my mic. I didn't think we were gonna go this far. Oh, you can hear me, good. Well, I'm glad, because I thought it's pretty windy out here. I wasn't too sure. Search what's happening in Nepal right now. They're actually doing something with the government, the people. Oh, is that a positive thing? Because I don't know what the story is on that, but I'll check it out. I'll check it out when I get back. Are you saying that's a positive thing, Joe, or is it not? I'm trying to turn around and get this dog to follow me. I don't know if you can see her back there, but. So let's shift back. Now that I've covered that, what I wanted to talk about and tell you about with Charlie Kirk and what he exposed this last week, we can shift back to the INFJ topic, which, by the way, I don't mention this often. I should probably mention it in every video. If you want to know which of the 16 personalities you are most aligned with, go to 16personalities.com and you'll find their free personality test. Totally free. You might have to give them your email or something, but that's it. And it takes maybe 20 minutes or so, depending how much time you spend on the multiple choice questions. And you'll get your 4-letter acronym personality. Mine is INFJ, but there's 16 different possibilities. And the moment you finish your test, you'll get maybe like a 7-page readout, 7 or 8 maybe, of your personality, your strengths, your weaknesses, what you're prone to be good at, skill-wise, geez, what else? Well, it covers a lot in the pages that it gives you. And just with that knowledge, I can promise each and every one of you, you're gonna become a better person somehow. Because you're gonna know what you're prone to do in any given situation. You're gonna have a better understanding of, like I said, what you're good at, what your weaknesses might be. And when I did mine in 2015, it was a huge discovery to me, and it literally changed my life in many good ways. So if you just simply take 30 minutes, an hour, and do that, I can promise you're gonna get something out of it. And I don't make any money from it, obviously. I'm just telling you the standard link, 16personalities.com. So check it out. And so as an INFJ, one of my strengths is as a teacher and content creator, because my mind is always connecting dots, wanting to help others. INFJs are very altruistic, want balance, want fairness in the world, to even our own detriment many times. And so one of the things I learned about me being an INFJ is that I need to practice the art of saying no. When people ask me to do stuff, ask me for something, because I'm so prone to saying yes and wanting to help people. But that sort of respect and those favors need to be earned. They shouldn't be freely given to just anyone. I think the only time that's not true is if it's somebody in need. They could be poor or just needing help in some way that they can only get from another person. And then in that case, you got to use your discernment to decide, well, am I going to help them? Am I going to spend my time, money, or resources in some way? And so that's an individual decision. But back to INFJs again, we're very good at discernment and intuition. Natural body language experts, readers. We don't even try. We don't have to read a book about it. We don't have to go to school for it. We don't need to learn from another expert. We just do it naturally. And we will pick up on the energy of another person, whether they're happy, sad, angry, just by stepping into the same room with them. We will know what they're feeling most of the time, unless they're really good or natural at hiding it. But even then, it's just sort of an energy field thing that we just pick up. And so before I learned that I was an INFJ and understood what that meant, my whole life I was feeling all these energies, emotions of other people, and it was sucking the energy out of me. But I didn't understand it. I didn't know what was going on. And that made things really difficult, like really difficult at times. Because if you can imagine, you're in a pretty good mood, you're happy, you're going to work or whatever, then all of a sudden you're around somebody who's miserable and just has no compassion for anybody who comes near them, just wants to take it out on the world and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden I would feel that. And then I would feel like I wouldn't take on their personality, but you feel that just darkness. And so I could go from very happy and in a good mood to, what's going on here? Why do I feel like this? I'm not that kind of person. And, it's just, it would make me think and try to figure out what's going on. As an INFJ, then that naturally makes you want to fix the problem. So again, back to the art of saying no. If I'm around somebody like that, now with what I know about my personality, immediately I have to ask myself, do I want to ignore this person and walk away? Or is this someone that's worth me giving my time and energy to try to help somehow? And a lot of times it's really not. But if it's somebody that you're close to, like I said, somebody you respect, love, then yes, it's worth it. But that's kind of what I'm trying to give you a teaser with 16personalities.com. There's other sites, but that's the one I've used and recommended for, well, almost 10 years now. And so I know it's reliable. I know it's free, at least as of a couple weeks ago, last time I checked. And just easy to use, quick to use, and all that stuff. So, highly recommended. And so what I'm telling you about my personality, INFJ, it may not apply to you, or maybe only some of it. If you're an INFJ listening, then you know everything I say. It's like, oh yeah, makes perfect sense. I get it. Been there, done that. But if you're any of the other 16 personalities, so there's 15 others, then some of it you may relate to, some of it you may be like, what's that guy talking about? Sounds like a weirdo. And I would understand that response. Some of it is hard to explain. Elaine, you said you had to walk away. Tired of being used. Yep. Be with people who love God. That makes a huge difference alone. But even though faith is important to me and many of you watching, it's not just that. There's lots of decent people in this world who, I don't know how, but think that the whole world is just a cosmic accident and whatnot. There's plenty of these people out there who believe that. But I do agree generally that if someone else has a relationship with God, they're usually a little bit more easy to, communicate with, understand. Who's this? Oh, you got a hard name for me. I want to say Cypertam, but I'm probably saying your name wrong. Hello. What is up, dude? I'm doing pretty good. It's warm here. The wind is blowing nicely. You can see Cassie over there is enjoying as well as I talk. And our trip back home is delayed. But I'm going to wrap this up here pretty soon. Oh yeah, Elaine, that's a good point. I've talked about recently too, so you've heard the phrase that gets said occasionally, blood is thicker than water. And what I said about that is that phrase can be used as a very narcissistic statement by people, by family, not everybody, at times, by people who want to control you and guilt you into, well, you should be a part of this event, or you should see me more because I'm your brother, sister, mother, father, uncle, whatever it is. And I say that's a load of trash. Respect is earned. It's not just freely given to all. And so I have some family members who have been just negative to me, disrespectful. And if you think I'm going to give them the time of day compared to you guys, total strangers who treat me like an equal, normal human being, no, I'm not going to. And in fact, that's one of the things that I really teach about is, time is precious. I mean, you may think you got 70, 80, 90 years on this earth, whatever it is, but anyone who is older will tell you that it doesn't seem that long once you get there. Once you get, 40, 50, 60, 70. The higher you go, almost faster it seems to go. And so I'm not going to waste my time on those kind of people. And as far as Bible prophecy, what the word tells us is that there's going to be strife between friends, family members, and I would just compare it to like a worst case scenario. If you had like father and son or daughter, whatever, mother with a son or daughter, and they were just totally, well, let's just say treating them the worst possible way. You guys can imagine whatever you want. Do you really think that son or daughter should respect them and obey everything they say? No. So that's biblical, but it's also just common sense. And so when I talk about when I talk about self-development stuff, part of that is you have to safeguard your own energy, your own well-being before anything else. Otherwise, you're not going to be good for anybody or be able to accomplish much in this world because you're going to be so busy trying to recover from those kinds of people. And I also know how easy it is to just keep by day after day and dealing with it and saying, oh, maybe tomorrow it'll change, but it never does. But it's one of the most brave, courageous things you can do is to just walk away from people like that. You may have to live in a place you don't want to live for a while. You may have to, but I would say it's worth it. If the situation is that bad that you're dealing with, then yeah, do it. As I try to lasso this doggy back. The Monk 636, welcome. Yeah, thanks for mentioning prayer, because prayer does help a lot and change things. It really does. I went through cancer a second time this year and chemo for the first time. And lots of pain, lots of issues, all at once. Thanks, the Monk. And I had no choice but to pray because, well, I was asking for miracles, but it was also because I believed in the power of prayer. So I did, every day, even if it was just a couple words. So, and he answered the prayers. I shouldn't neglect to say that part. He answered the prayers. Even though it wasn't always immediate, it usually wasn't, but somehow, some way, he kept answering prayers, and I'm doing a whole lot better now, and really thankful for that. And like a lot of things with prayers, you usually don't see it all clearly until it's in hindsight. So whether it's weeks, months, years, or decades later, you'll eventually see how God intervened. Got a hair or something on me. You'll see how he intervened and how he was taking care of you the whole time. So thank God for that. Thanks, brother. The monk. Yeah, I appreciate that. It was the hardest year of my life, I can probably say, for sure. But as of the last couple months, it's been way better. I got hair back. I'm back to the gym almost every day. Eating healthy like crazy, like never before. I'm in Southern California, but I grew up in Ohio and moved all over the place for the Marine Corps for 15 years. Build your next mountain. Yeah, I like that. And yeah, so that brings me back to the INFJ topic. INFJs are just naturally like self-development kind of junkies because we always are wanting to dig into more. So as far as building the next mountain, we're always trying to improve ourselves. And I think most INFJs just continue growing, moving on to the next level their entire lives in some way. And it's not by accident. It's because there's a whole lot of hard work involved. But that's how we're wired. It's not even like a choice. Even laying in bed at night, trying to fall asleep, or waking up in the middle of the night, it's like, maybe I should try this tomorrow. Or I wish I wouldn't have done that, you know? And just learning experiences, and we can be hard on ourselves, but there's a lot of maturity in there too. And so the more you learn about yourself too, the better you get at that kind of stuff. I definitely had PTSD from a few different events in my life. One that was military related, or two that were, and one that was civilian related before I enlisted in the Marine Corps. And those would be stories for another video, but those learning experiences also just made me a better teacher, gave me more empathy for others who are going through problems, and yeah, one of my mindsets, what I tell anyone going through a hard time ever, is find something to learn from it, no matter what it is. Even if it's not your fault in any way and it's somebody else's fault, what can you learn from that? If it's somebody else's fault, okay, I need to protect myself more, my energy, who I'm around, where I live, you name it. But learning something is at least still a positive thing. And the situation may still be crapola, but anyhow, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. This has been a long live for me. And Cassie she's good. So you guys take care, my geniuses, and I will see you again soon. Okay, the monk. See you, mate. Are you Australian? I forget if you said where you're from. All right, you guys, take care. God bless. Bye for now.